Hey, Travis here, Steven's Truck Power. Got another video for you this morning. We got the 5.9. I don't know if you've watched any previous videos, but we have a Dodge here we got the motor out of. It had a hole in the block, and we've now got a different block. We built the motor, showed a little bit of that in some videos and shorts. Now we got it put together. We're going to adjust the valves, but this motor will soon be in that truck. We've done an overhead on a 12 valve in the past and showed that. This is basically the same thing. For those of you that have done hundreds of these, nothing new. Anybody that's interested on how to do this or want to do your own, this is probably the best place to be able to see it, is a motor on the floor. Nothing's in the way. We can get lots of close-ups, and so we'll probably do a detailed video of setting all these valves. Then you can see, how we do it. Anyway, we'll just get started. All right, got us a light here. Hope that helps out. And nice, comfortable chair, but it's nice to work on something that's sitting on the ground. Anyway, we've got our 9/16 wrench. These set at 10 and 26. If you're not sure, it's written on the valve cover, or you can look in Quick Serve if you have that, and you can see the valve settings. And that's what we'll go ahead and do. We're going to use valve overlap again, and I'll just kind of talk you through that, what that means. Right now we're going to be coming up on overlap on number 6. What that is as the exhaust valves it goes down, it comes up, and the intake starts to go down to bring in intake air at the same time, so they actually cross over like that. We want to get to that point and stop. So we'll go ahead and roll this. We're going to go engine rotation, which is clockwise. As you can see, the exhaust is the longer one. It's going down right now, and we'll just keep rolling through that. There, it's at the bottom of the stroke, starting to come back up. Right about here is where we want to be real cautious and just wait for the intake to start going down. That'll be valve overlap. I think we're pretty close right there. I should have lapped right there. I don't know if you've seen that. Back that up real quick. Right there. Now this one's up, this one's coming up, still tight. That one's going down tight. So both of these are tight. So then we go to the opposite end. So we're going to start on number 1 because we're on valve overlap on 6. Number 1, these will both be loose, and we can set both of these. So we'll set both intake and exhaust, and then you just go in order: intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust. And we'll stop on 5 because we can't set 6 because they're tight. So we'll start there. I got my 10, my 26, and again, I've said in the past, I really like these go no-goes. If you haven't seen our previous videos, let's see if I can. So this one's 25 right here, 27 on this side. And so if this will go and this won't go, we are at 26 thousandths. I like that just because it takes a lot of guesswork out. Everybody's feel's a little different, so. And if you like the feel, using the other one, no big deal. This is just my preference. We're going to rock this back and forth, mainly doing this to get the oil out of the push tube, making sure there's nothing underneath, and then we'll just get this to where it'll slide in and out. It's a little tight. So now that one will go, but the bigger step won't go. I'm at exactly 10. Go ahead and snug that up. Now I'll go to the exhaust, and every time I tighten something up, you want to recheck it. They will loosen and and tighten up depending how messed up the nut is. So now we just did the 10. Always double check, make sure you got the right one. So we're going to go in the exhaust with 26. Bend this one up a little bit. There we go. So these aren't even close right now just because we just built this motor, so everything's a little out of whack. If you do it in the truck, everything will be a little closer in adjustment than this is. A little bit tight, just nudge it a little bit. That'll go, that won't go. Double check. Okay, so one's done, then we go on to 2. We'll do the intake. We won't do the exhaust, we'll just go intake, exhaust every other cylinder. So intake, exhaust. We'll do the intake on 2. Feels pretty good. One will go, one won't go. It's actually a little loose. That one's starting to go. So yeah, it's a good thing to always recheck after you tighten. Perfect. Okay, that one's good. Then we'll go on to the exhaust on 3. And if you haven't done one, these have a little foot right here that wiggles around. It's a little tough to get the feeler gauge under. Sometimes you have to kind of lift up with your finger. If you've done these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've done both intake, exhaust, so now we're back to intake. Check that. Yeah, see that one loosened up on me. It's better. Okay, and then the exhaust on 5. A little tight. There we go. That goes. That doesn't go. Check that. Yeah. Okay, we are good. All right, so we're half done basically. So now we can't do 6 because that was on overlap, if you remember. They're both tight. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and roll it around to where number 1 is now on overlap, which will allow us to go back and do number 6, and then we'll come back this way with the ones we didn't do. We'll go ahead and roll that around. And if you notice now, we got the exhaust on 1 going down. Alright, it's coming up now. A little more light on there because I can't see. Okay, 1 should start to go down now. Right there. 1 went down. So the intake went down, the exhaust is still coming up. So now we're overlapped here, which will allow us to be able to adjust number 6. So the same way we did going down through them, we'll do intake and exhaust on 6. So we'll start with the exhaust. Tighten that up, recheck. It actually loosened up a little on me too. Perfect. Okay, then we'll do the intake. Okay, now we've done both of those, we'll just come back through like we did. So we'll go intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, and then we'll be done. So it's basically all the ones we didn't do, of course, but it's an easy way to remember. You just intake and exhaust all the way back. So doing the intake on 5. Loosened up a little. Yeah, it's always good to recheck because that happens a lot, or they tighten up. Okay, we got the intake, then we'll do exhaust. Always double check, make sure you're using the right feeler gauge. It's easy to get them mixed up. tight. Yeah, that one loosened up too. There we go. Okay, both intake, exhaust, back to intake. I always talk myself through it. They sound dumb, but at least you don't end up doing the wrong one. So intake, exhaust, intake. Like I said, these are really out of whack because, of course, we just built the motor. Well, this one's really loose. That really loosened up. There we go. Okay. And then exhaust on 2. Recheck. Okay. And we're done. So basically valve overlap on 1 and 6, and you intake and exhaust each direction, and you end up hitting them all. So all done. And always go back through and recheck the nuts. You could miss one may not be tight, and it's a fairly simple thing to sit and adjust valves, but it can really screw things up if you get one wrong or leave a nut loose. A lot of damage, and you know, valve will hit a piston or ruin things for you. So go through and recheck everything, make sure it's all tight. But this thing's ready for a valve cover and about ready to go sit back in the truck. Thanks for watching.